Bandhu Prabhu is so nicely narrating us also in form of words in a book which is writing, so that over the years we have pastimes available in form of the books, picture, where these places are still manifested. As Bandhu was mentioning, many places are already unmanifested. We don't even know where. So, we spoke how Bandhu Prabhu joined in 1969. Boulder, Colorado, has been a temple president of Portland, Oregon for many years, temple president of Krishna Balram Mandir for many years. We're very fortunate to have him in this place, so let's welcome him with a loud Haribo! 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 Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So it's a great honor and pleasure for us to again be here in central New Jersey with our dear friend Bodhapati Prabhu, and to be here at the lotus feet of Sri Sri Nitai Gaur Sundar and Sri Sri Radhasham Sundar and Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani, and to be at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and with all the wonderful New Jersey devotees. It's a very great pleasure and honor for us. So again tonight, we're going to take you to Braj without ticket, no visa, no security check. And just to put us in Braj mood, a few people have asked me to sing this very beautiful Braj bhajan. We don't have to have anybody who plays Mridanga. All of Mridanga well is on vacation today. I don't even see the Mridanga, but it's being wild. Anyway, we're playing without discartants. So, if you have your devices with you, first of all, you can put them on silent, because these little babies have a way of crying in the middle of the katha. And you can look up Braja Jana Mana, Braja Jana Mana Sukhakari. Shri Radhe, Brajajanam Manasukakari Radhe, Jama Jama Jam. Shri Radhe, Brajajanam Manasukakari Radhe, Jama Jama Jam. Shri Radhe, Brajajanam Manasukakari Radhe. Radhe
Radhe
Brajajana Mana Sukha Kari. Brajajan means the residents of Braj. Just like we have we have a lot of Gujarat Jan, and we have some Rajasthani Jan, and at least one Bengali Jan, and Hyderabad Jan. Actually, you're all Vaishnavas, you're all Bhaktajan. So Brajajan means the residents of Braj. Brajajana Man means the heart. Sukhakari, we can understand, who delights the hearts of the Brajvasis. And who is that who delights their hearts? Radhe Sham, Shama Sham. So this beautiful Brajvasa bhajan just takes us straight to Braj. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksurudritamreva Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Vestam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupakatamaya Dati Swapanandikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripasindhubhevascha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I was thinking what pastime to tell. So this very wonderful pastime that not many people know actually, because there was one devotee named Kartikeya, who was, in the very, very early days, he was Srila Prabhupada's servant. But he's no longer in this world, so you won't find his memories, on the memory tapes. But he personally told me this story. Because this story is very encouraging, because you're thinking that we weren't so fortunate like you got to see Prabhupada, you got to serve Prabhupada. But you shouldn't think like that. The story will give you special encouragement. There's one time Prabhupada went to Hawaii with Gaur Sundar and our dear God sister, Govinda Dasi, by whose grace we're all worshipping Tulsi Devi. So one day, Govinda Dasi came from the store, and she brought something called wheat germ. Now in Bharat, I never met anybody who knows what wheat germ is. Do you know what wheat germ is? You've heard of wheat germ? No. Anyway, the very inside of the kernel of the wheat, there's these two little leaves that sprout, that's the germ. So somehow they extract that center part of the grain, and they make it in, they flatten it out somehow, and it's very, very healthy. So Kartikeya, he was very excited. Oh, next time, this is old days, next time Swamiji, they call Prabhupada Swamiji. Next time Swamiji asks for halava, I'm going to make it with the wheat germ. And Swamiji will be so pleased. He's going to really like it. So one day in Hawaii, it rained. Just like, seems like we brought the rain with us from UK. So one day it rained. So Prabhupada used to like to take halava when it's raining because it's a little cold, So halava's got lots of grains and ghee, makes you nice and warm. So he told Kartikeya to make some halava. So Kartikeya went in the kitchen, and he decided, I'm going to make it with the wheat germ instead of the suji, the cream of wheat. And Swamiji will be so pleased. That was his whole meditation. Swamiji is going to really like this. He's going to be so pleased. His whole meditation was like that. Then he offered it to Krishna. He put it in a bowl. He brought it into Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada looked at it. Said, what is this? Halava means suji. Halava means suji. And with his left hand, he said, take it out. Now, if you reject something by left hand, that's very heavy. And Kartikeya, he was a very, very sensitive devotee. Very simple, simple-hearted, sensitive devotee. He may have some Indonesian background or something. He was a little dark-skinned, so I don't know. But anyway, he was very sensitive. So that completely shattered him. His whole meditation, his Swamiji would be so pleased. So he didn't know what to do. So he went into the temple room and he sat in front of the picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he began to pray. He said, I was just trying to please your spiritual son, Swamiji. And somehow he's become so upset with me, I don't know what to do. And he was crying. Because he was very sensitive to it. He was crying. Suddenly he heard Prabhupada's voice. Kartikeya? Kartikeya? He ran to Prabhupada's room. Prabhupada said, bring that halava. So he brought a bowl of halava, and with great gusto, Prabhupada, ding, 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 said, bring some more. He brought some more, bring some more. Prabhupada finished up the whole pot of halava. So he told me, so I learned two things from this. One, that Prabhupada is not alone. There's a whole chain of spiritual masters going behind Prabhupada all the way back to Krishna, handing us the rope to get out of this dark material world. Because who was he praying? He was praying to Bhaktisiddhanta. So behind Prabhupada there's a whole chain of spiritual masters, pulling on the rope to get us out of this material world. And second thing, Prabhupada always said, grandfather is more merciful than the father. I have my own personal experience, not far from here. My grandfather used to live in West Virginia. Very interesting name, War, West Virginia. Anyway, he had what we now call, convenience shop. This is many years ago, but, had all types of different things, So, one side of the shop was all the chocolates. So me and all my brothers and sisters, we would always go to that side of the store, And my father, who had to pay for all our dental bills, he would say, no, 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 no. But Grandpa, from the backside, he would always give us. So Prabhupada would always say, grandfather is more merciful than the father. So you shouldn't feel unfortunate. You have Prabhupada as your grandfather's spiritual master. He will be more merciful to you than even to us. And we see it, second generation devotees doing so many wonderful things by Prabhupada's mercy. So you shouldn't feel that you're unfortunate that you didn't get Prabhupada's association. You'll get more mercy from Prabhupada. You'll be more merciful than the Father. And another thing you should take encouragement from is that Prabhupada said, these purports are my personal ecstasies. So when Prabhupada was writing his books, it didn't matter if you were GBC or sannyasi or temple president, everybody was out of the room. He was alone with his dictating machine, dictating these personal ecstasies. So nobody got that association. But that association is available even to you today. You just crack open one of Prabhupada's books. What more personal association do you want? My personal ecstasy. You crack open any of Prabhupada's books. You're getting the most personal association with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada was asking me to tell something about Krishna's childhood pastimes. So we know those all happened in Gokul. Because in Mathura side there was a great king named Devamita. And Devamita, he had 2 wives. Because kings were allowed to have more. They could support all of them on the same level. So one wife, she was a Kshatriya. Naturally, he was a Kshatriya, so his wife would be a Kshatriya. But second wife, she was a Vaishya, which is also permitted. We can marry down, but we can't marry up. So Jiva Goswami explains, and the son of the The Kshatriya wife was Surasen. You've all heard the name of Surasen. Huh? And his son was Vasudev. And the son of the Vaishya wife, his name was Parjanya Maharaj. And Jiva Goswami explains in Gopal Chandra, because he was born from the Vaishya wife, he became the king of the Kaurats. And eventually he made his kingdom on the other side of the river in Gokul. And Parjanya Maharaj, Parjanya means cloud. He was just like a cloud. The cloud extracts water from the ocean, takes it up in the clouds, and then rains it down all over the land to nourish all living beings. So Parjanya Maharaj was like that. He took taxes from the people, but he returned it in so many welfare projects for all of his citizens. So he was just like a cloud. And everybody appreciated him like anything. When he became old, he had 5 sons. Upananda, Abhinanda, Nanda, Sunanda, and Nanda. And you can see Nanda Maharaj was the middle son. So, and nearby there was a very wonderful gopa named Sumukha. And Sumukha had a very, very lovely daughter named Yashoda. You see, all the original Brajbasis have beautiful names. Yashoda, who gives fame, and Radharani's mother's name is Kirtida, who gives glory, and Vrishabhana's mother is Sukhada, who gives happiness. All old Brajbasis, original Brajbasis, they're sub deniwala. They're all givers. Ab ye sab deniwala chala gaye, only leniwala reh gaye. So anyway, seeing that Nanda and Yashoda had very matching qualities, they arranged their wedding together. And great pomp and ceremony arranged at a wedding of Nanda and Yashoda. Then one day, our Parjanya Maharaj, he became very old. So he decided to turn the kingdom over to his eldest son, Upananda. So Upananda became the king of all the Kauravas. But one day he called a meeting of all the Kaurav men. And in that meeting, he began to describe the glories of Nanda Maharaj. With so much enthusiasm and ecstasy, it appeared that he had 5 mouths as he described Nanda Maharaj's glories. And Nanda Maharaj's head went down. He was ashamed hearing this. And then Upananda, he made a proposal that actually Nanda Maharaj is more qualified than me, and I'm Upananda. Just like one time I was the Adhyaksh of Krishna Balaram Mandir, and I had a vice president, so he was Upadhyaksh. He said, so I'm the follower of Nanda. Actually, Nanda Maharaj is more qualified than me. I'm Upananda, the follower of Nanda. He made the proposal that actually Nanda Maharaj should become the king. And all the Brajbasis hearing this proposal, they unanimously passed this proposal. And everyone was very, very overjoyed and very happy with this resolution. Our GBC, if they could pass a resolution that everybody was very happy with, they would also be very happy. But this is Braj. Magical things like this can happen in Braj. So Nanda Maharaj, he became the king. And under his reign, everyone was very, very happy. So he made his kingdom in Gokul. And there's a very special place in Gokul called Brahmandagat. Most of you can understand what really happened there in Brahmandagat, just down the road from Gokul temple. And during lockdown, when we were all locked, the government was very active, and they made beautiful ghats there, and beautiful piers and chhatris, and fixed up the place very nicely. While we were all locked up, they were doing so much work all over Braj. And now we have very amazing government that is taking care of all the holy places. So, one day, Baldauji, he went to see Mother Yasoda, and he said, Lala's eating clay. So Ma Yasoda, she came and said, Lala, you're eating clay? And Lala said, Main nahi biti kayo. Now we can take it that, because when past tense, when we want to say I, then we say mene. Mene hi biti kayo. I definitely ate biti. Dirt. Or we can take it me nahi. We can take it present tense. I didn't eat any dirt. So, then why all your friends are complaining? Oh, so today Balaram's side lost in the game, so they're all making lies. Mujhe fasane ke liye to get me in trouble. Acha, is it Lala? If you didn't eat any clay, then let me see inside your mouth. So Krishna, he opened his mouth wide, and Mother Yasoda looked inside, and she saw the whole Brahman means universe. She saw the stars, the moon, Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, all the stars were there, Mercury was there, and earth, air, fire, water, and ether, and objects of the senses, the controller of the senses, everything was there within Krishna's mouth. Even she was outside looking in, she saw herself within Krishna's mouth. She's outside looking in, but she saw herself within Krishna's mouth. And she's looking inside Krishna's mouth, but she saw Krishna also there, sitting on her lap, drinking milk from her breast. And she became very, very confused. And she began to think all these very high philosophical thoughts. That by the illusory energy of the Lord, I'm under the conception that I'm the queen of all the cowherd men. And she began to think all these things. But Krishna, he just likes love. So immediately he expanded his Yogamaya potency. And Mother Yasoda forgot all these big philosophical things. And she just accepted it as her Lala. Because Krishna, he likes, there's two types of Maya. One is called Mahamaya, where we're stuck, and one is called Yogamaya. Now Mahamaya is to take us away from Krishna. Mahamaya is to take us away from Krishna. Just like we were in UK, there was one fellow, and he is no more, named Stephen Hawking. He used to write so many books that this God is a nonsense thing. Completely in Mahamaya. Other Maya is Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya means to bring us close to Krishna. So sometimes that ordinarily we think of God, awe and reverence. Just like in America, they talk about the fear of God. So fear of God, that awe and reverence. But that becomes in a way of having an intimate relation. So this Yoga Maya, she takes away that concept that Krishna is the supreme personality of God and I'm just a tiny servant. And Mother Yasoda, she's just thinking Krishna is so wonderful. And if I don't feed him, he's going to get sick. If I don't feed him, he's going to get sick. Krishna's supplying everyone in the whole universe. But Mother Yasoda thinks, if I don't feed Lala, he'll become sick. So this brings us very close. So Krishna Yoga Maya is there to bring us close to Krishna so that we have a very intimate relationship with him. So Krishna immediately, he didn't like that attitude of Mother Yasoda, so he took that away, and she was just thinking And if you go to Brahmanda Ghat, just about 2 kilometers down the road is a very special place called Chindahara Ghat. Anybody ever been to Chindahara Ghat? Okay, a few people. Very peaceful place. Chinta, means worry. So Mati Sora, she saw the whole universe of Krishna's mouth. She became very worried. So the Vrajavasis tell that she went down to that beautiful place. It's just on the bank of the Jamuna. Jamuna is flowing by very sweetly. And beautiful kadamba trees are there, and people trees are there. You know the people tree? When Krishna saw this tree, he said, Are Maya, what type of tree is this? What's leaf has got a tail? What kind of tree is it? This was leaf has got a tail. Ye kain ki peri, jiske pati ki punche Maya. Ye kain ki peri, jiske pati ki punche. And Mother Yasoda looked and said, Oh Lala, this is people tree. As you've seen, he's shaped just like a heart, just like in front of Prabhupada's Samadhi in Vrindavan. Big, huge people tree is there. And the leaf is shaped just like a heart and comes down to a little punch tail. And as soon as a little bit of breeze is there, they get to move. And when the breeze gets very heavy, then this nice sound comes. And people trees are very, very special for the environment. Even we were just in Los Angeles, beginning of this year, or the end of last year, I guess actually, in December. And we saw right around from the corner of the temple, they have some office building there. I can't remember which office it is. But there's a people tree living there, growing there. Great, now it's great big. I watched it from the beginning. Now it's grown very big leaves like this. But the people trees are very special for the environment. Because we learned in our botany class that the trees, they give off oxygen in the daytime. And in the nighttime, they give off carbon dioxide. But people trees and banyan trees, they're very famous. They give off oxygen 24/7. That's why we see the yogis like to sit beneath the people trees and the banyan trees. A very special environment is there. When Krishna saw banyan tree, he said, Are Maya, ye kain ki peher jiske it has a beard? What kind of tree is this that has a beard, Maya? Ye kain ki peher jiske dadi hai Maya? Ye kain ki peher jiske dadi hai Maya? And Mother Yasoda looks, Oh Lala, this is banyan tree. He has so many roots hanging down just like a beard. And actually one time I found a big book on Indian trees. And I read about the banyan trees there. Because we call it Vat or Bargat, right? I don't know in Gujarati what you say. Bargat, huh? So how did it become banyan tree? Well, when the Britishers were there, they used to see that all the merchants, they put their shops and their push carts in the shade of this tree. Now in Iskcon we know the merchant class of people is called Vaishya, right? But in India we call Baniya. Baniya, almost like bank, Baniya. Say, huh? Because all day there was no bank. We gave our money to the Baniya and he invested it in so many ways, made some interest and gave us some. So we call Baniya. So they saw that all the Baniyas put their chops and push carts under that tree, so they called it the Baniya tree. And very slowly it became banyan tree. There was a big book about Indian trees like this, it was a serious story, it wasn't a book. That's how it became banyan tree. So beautiful banyan trees are there, people trees are there, nice ghat is there. In the old days, it was a very simple place. It was just a tiny little temple. There's a temple of Chenteshwar Mahadev was there. And just tiny little temple was there. Anyway, we used to sit on the sand in the Jamuna, with Jamuna flowing peacefully by, and the birds are there chirping, and the peacocks are crying. kokilas, I can't make their sound anymore. I had some problem with my face like a year ago. It's still not completely healed. The kokilas were singing. We'll try it. Almost. Okay, it's coming. And another bird we call teeter. Because they run along the ground. Prabhupada translates in Krishna book as Francolin partridge. So they run along the ground all day long. And then at night they fly up in a tree. And in the morning, outside your window, you hear the sound. Coming down, coming down, coming down. And there's another bird. Wherever there's a kund, you'll find these birds. They have nice black suits and beautiful white shirts, and their tail goes like this as they walk around the kund. And they sit they find some corner and they sit. But if two of them walking around the kund, two of them run into each other, then they make a sound that is almost inimitable. Quack, 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 quack. It's like at Vrindavan, when it's time for the evening arti, they come and sit in the tree beside the temple, and as soon as we start singing Kiva Jayo, then they quack, 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 quack. And there's another bird. She's white and black, and she has big long legs. Also found around the water. In English we call it killdeer because we like to kill these things, you know. So they're addicted to their guns. So they call it killdeer, but we call the Brijvasis, they call it tatera, because she makes a sound. Did you? The Americans say here, killdeer. Did you? And she's our weatherman, because if she lays her eggs on high ground, that means it's going to be a heavy rainy season. And if she lays her eggs on low ground, there's not going to be much rain that season. So all these very beautiful places. Ma Yashoda wandered down there. Chintahar, all her worries were chased away, went away. Har means to take away. All her worries were taken away. But gradually the merchants of Mathura have found this beautiful picnic place. So now we used to be very happy to sit on the soft sands of Jamuna and hear these nice guitars. And now they put these nice interlocking tiles so we can sit on these hard tiles. And the government also fixed up the ghats there and made some nice places there. We used to be happy just sitting on the soft sand of Jamuna. And they made a huge temple of Chinteswar Mahadev. And I have a very dear friend in Alachua named Dasarath Sutta. His company is Nectar Books. He's translated many of the Goswami's literatures from Bengali into English. And he published one book, The Poetry of Mahaprabhu. And he found in the Kadacha, in the notebooks of Marari Gupta, there's that Mahaprabhu, when he was on South Indian tour, he entered into a Shiva temple. And took darshan of Lord Shiva, and he spontaneously composed a Shivastaka. So he's kept that in there, because since young devotee, they always told me Mahaprabhu only wrote the Shivastaka. But he found so many things that Mahaprabhu has written. And one of these was this Shivastaka. And two verses I memorized, because they were so nice. Sri Rama Govinda Mukunda Sori Sri Krishna Narayana Vasudeva Ityadi nama mritapanamata bringadipaya kila dukkha hantre. He calls Lord Shiva Akila Dukkha Hantre, who takes away the sorrows of this world. Akila Dukkha Hantre. How? Sri Rama Govinda Mukunda Sori Sri Krishna Narayana Vasudeva Ityadi Nama Mritapanamata. Jai Sri Gauri Jai Sri Radha Shyam Sundar Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. In Sanskrit, Adi means etc. So all these names, Ityadi, etc. Namamrit, Panamata, Pana, he's relishing all these wonderful names of Krishna and even more names, Ityadi. Pana Mata, Mata, he's absorbed. He's completely absorbed in relishing this Namamrit from all these names of Krishna. How? Bringadipa, like the king of the bumblebees. Just like in the lotus flowers, there's a special nectar we call makarant. And the bees, they love that nectar. And they go there and they just drink and drink and drink and drink. And Rupa Goswami, he's given a name for the Jamuna, that Sarvadara Binda Bandhu Nandini, that she's, Jamuna, we know is the daughter of the sun god. But he's given it in a poetic way. He says, Sarvadara Binda Bandhu. The friend, Sarvada means always, at all times. Sarvada, Arabinda means lotus. Arabinda, Bandhu, like being Bandhu. Bandhu means friend. So who's the friend of all the lotus flowers? I'll give you a hint. When moon will rise, all the lotuses will close their face. They don't want to see the moon. But as soon as sun will rise, every lotus will open with a big smile to see the sun. So, Arabinda Bandhu Nandini, the daughter of the friend of all the lotus flowers. So, when the sun goes down, that lotus flower is going to close. If that bee doesn't get out, then he's going to get stuck inside and he'll suffocate and die. But that nectar is so sweet, he just goes on drinking and drinking and drinking. The lotus closes, and then we get, in the evening we can hear them all buzzing inside here. And then the morning lotus open and poor bee is dead. So we have to relish the holy name like that. Panamata, he's absorbed and relish the name like the king of the bumblebees. We have to relish the name in such a way that even death comes before us. We just go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And step on his head and go back to Godhead. So that's how we have to chant. And second one, this is my favorite. When you hear it, then you'll understand why. Shri Gauri Netro Savamangalaya Tat Prananadaya Rasa Pradaya Sada Samutkanta Govinda Lila Gana Pravinaya Namo Satubhyam. He says, Shri Gauri Netra Utsav. We know Netra means eye. Shri Gauri Netro Savamangalaya. He's the auspicious festival for the eyes of Gauri, his wife. Shri Gauri Netosava Mangalaya, Tat Prananathaya, he's the Lord of her life. And Rasa Pradaya, he's the giver of ras. How? Sada Samukanta Govinda Lila. Sada means always. Ukanta, sometimes our enthusiasm boils up, this is a kant. Our enthusiasm boils up to the kant. It says Ukanta, with great enthusiasm. Govinda Lila, Gana. He's always singing Govinda Lila with great enthusiasm. Sarasavakanda Govinda Lila Gana Pravinaya. We have any Praveen in our community here? Everybody knows somebody named Prabhu. Prabhu means expert. He's very expert at chanting Govinda Leela with great enthusiasm. So I offer my respects to that Lord Shiva. Kana Privanaya Namostatubhyam. I offer my obeisance to that Lord Shiva. So this is one of my favorite verses. This beautiful Chinteswar Mahadev temple. He's very interesting ling. Because I have seen places where there's, mostly we find one ling. I've seen many places where there's 5 lings, just like you go to Chakleshwar Mahadev and Govardhan, you'll see 5 lingas. I have seen also 11 lingas. But in Chinteswar Mahadev, you'll find 1,111 lings. 1,111 lings. How? You have to go look closely, you'll see that in the one big ling, so many little lings all around like this are carved all the way down. So there's 1,111 lings. It's very special. And it's a very special place. So, what else does he tell about Chintarga? Oh. Oh, no, special thing about Brahmandaga. We'll go back to Brahmandaga. Because you may have seen the video, You're Ever Well-Wisher, right?
Yeah.
And there's one scene where Prabhupada's sitting with his godbrother, Adi Keshav, Obiel Kapoor. And he, with his hands, he's gesturing, like, why not? But I heard from devotees who were there, my older godbrothers who were there, that Prabhupada took the devotees on Prikrama. And one of the places he came to was Brahmandaga. And this was, they did a pandal in Delhi in November. So then he took all the devotees to Vrindavan. The first time he ever brought the devotees to Vrindavan. So the end of November means it's already starting to get very cold. So Prabhupada went down those steps. He touched the water, put some water on his head. He said, "It is too cold for old man like me. But you all go in." So all the devotees, jumped into the water, put on their gumshoes and jumped in the water. And they were splashing and having such a good time that you see Prabhupada telling Obiya, why not, So then the devotees told me that Prabhupada, he was out of his lungi and into his gumshoe. It was just so quick how he did it. Bing! And then in the movie you can see my dear godbrother Shirodakshai Vishnu, who's no longer in this world. He takes Prabhupada by the hand and takes him down the steps. And then in pure Marathi style, Prabhupada holds his nose and ping, ping, ping 3 times. So that's the place where this happened. When you go there, you'll see there's still an old broken stone from the god where you can see, because you can see the god is coming down. There's a stone there that Juman is flowing over. So you can still see that place is there. That's where Prabhupada took bath. First he says, it's too old, it's too cold for old man. He saw the devotees having such a good time in Jamuna. And there, outside the temple, there's a little temple there, beautiful temple of Brahman Bihari. Beautiful little temple of Brahman Bihari. And you go and see, a nice temple is there. It's been fixed up by, I think, Braj Vikas Trust. The government also did a lot of work there. It's a nice temple there, Brahman Bihari. And you can see beautifully mixed chandan and keshar, what do you call it, saffron, make beautiful spirals on his cheeks. Nice decoration and beautiful Brahman Bihari is there. And nice sadhu is there, crippled sadhu named Sudama. And he's always very kind to me. No we always meet him, we go to Kumbh Mela, we always meet him at Kumbh Mela also. And Sudama, he's keeping many cows. If you go behind, there's a circumambulate, it's a beautiful circumambulate. You go backside, so many beautiful cows are there. That's one nice thing about Goku. Somehow, wherever we go, because on the other side of Jamuna, wherever we go, we see lots of buffaloes. But on the Gokul side, somehow wherever we go, we see nice, beautiful white cows, reddish cows. So he has very, you see, nice fatty, he's taking nice care of them. So he's always begging for donations there. Always helping, telling devotees, this is Kartik, this is, he's taking care of the cows, it's nice. And Kartik, a nice donation for the cows. And Sudama's always there. And now beautiful, now they made even more beautiful ghats there and fixed up the place very nicely. This is a place where Prabhupada took bath and the Cherkadam, that's also another sweet place. And that also has something to do with cows. We were just talking about the cows. Because before, Krishna was taking care of the calves. Before he was Gopal, he was Vatsapal. And taking care of the calves, that was near the village. But one day, I'll tell a little story. One day after Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, all the cowherd boys were teasing him. Those little boys, they like to tease too much, So they were saying, oh, you're a big man, huh? You lifted a whole hill. You're just taking out the calves? What kind of big man are you? Somebody can hand it. What kind of big man are you? Huh? So, next morning, Krishna didn't want to get out of bed. And Mother Yasoda, she came, he was under his covers. And says, Utao Lala, get up Lala, time to get up. What's the matter, Lala? You have a stomach ache, Lala? You have a stomach ache in your tooth, Lala? You have a stomach ache in your head, Lala? Anyway, Mother was very expert to get the things out of the children. Finally, Mother Yasoda got it out of him. What happened? The cowboys were teasing him like this. So she went to Nanda Baba and explained to him. So then, Nanda Baba, he went to his guru, Sandilya Rishi. Because we know Vasudeva, he's got a guru in Mathura, that is Garga Rishi. But Nanda and Yasoda, their guru, is Sandilya Rishi, the disciple of Garga Rishi. So Sandilya Rishi said, well, today is Kopashtami, a very good day to turn the carrying of the cows over to Krishna. But Mother Yasoda, she's not agreeing. Because calves, he's nearby the village. Now he'll go far in the forest. There may be so many thorns on the path. There may be so many stones on the path. It may be too hot. It may be too cold. It may rain. So she's not agreeing. So then Sandilya Rishi said, well, there's a nice blanket we call Kali Kamri, or in British Bhasha, Kali Kamri. And anyone who wears that blanket, he'll not suffer from hunger, from thirst, from cold, from heat, from rain, he'll not suffer from anything. So Nanda Baba said, where can we find a Kali Kamri? He said, well, Bandhu, he has one. But now, Nanda Baba, he's a king. Bandhu, he's a king. Can one king go to another king and beg from him? No. So then Sandilya Rishi said, look, we'll say that we want to turn the care of the cows over to Krishna, but first we have to do Kanya Puja. And the best Kanya is Srimati Radharani. And then in Dakshina, I'll beg for that Kali Kamri. So Nanda was, that's a good idea. So they went over to Barsana, they presented everything to Vrishabhanu, and he was very happy. He said, yes, yes, yes. So then they had Krishna do this beautiful Kanya Puja. And after the puja, then Nanda Baba said, oh, puja was very nice. And suddenly she, yes, yes, very nice. And Vrishabhanu said, yes, very nice, yes, very nice. Everybody was going, yes, yes, very nice, yes, yes, very nice. And Nanda Baba was poking Sandhu. Come on. But, he said, but what? He said, well, no puja is complete without some dakshina. Oh, you want gold? You want silver? You want diamonds? You want pearls? No, we don't need any of that. We just want Kali Kamri. Now this Kali Kamri, the threads that go this way were woven by Lord Shiva, and the threads that go this way were woven by Lord Brahma, very special. So Vrishabhanu said, well, I'll order one right away. He said, no, we need it right now. The one you already have, that's good enough. So they got that Kali Kamri. And they came back, and Yasoda, she made a very special function. Because in our Vedic culture, whenever there's some parivartan, some change in the life, then we always do some sort of function. Just like everything starts from the vivaha sanskar, marriage. I don't know much about Sanskrit, I know a little bit. But there seems to be some connection between two words in Sanskrit. One is vivaha, and the other is vivad. And somehow there must be some connection. That's where vivaha comes vivad. So, what was my train? I lost my train. No, the function. So everything starts with Vivaha Sanskar, then Griha Pravesh, we have to have a house, then Garbhadan Sanskar, then Mundan Sanskar, then what do you call it? Jata Karna Sanskar, and birthday and all these things. Just like if you ask your grandfather what they used to do on birthday, they'll say, Grandma used to call the Pandit, he would do some Havan, he would do some Gita Pad or Ramayan Pad, or chant Hanuman Chalisa or something, and there would be some distribution of prasad and some Nam Sankirtan. And now what do? Happy birthday to you. We're forgetting our old Vedic culture. But now Prabhupada has spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, and now the devotees, they're calling the devotees. Now the people, they're calling the devotees. You come for a birthday for our child. We have Hari Katha and Kirtan and Prasadam and like that. And we're regaining our old Vedic culture. So now the Yasoda, she made some special function, to give the charge of the cows over to Lala. So, in that function, she gave some wooden shoes and umbrella. And Lala said, Maya, and Maya, what is this shoes? What is this umbrella? He said, Lala, now you go far in the forest. There may be so many thorns. There may be so many stones. So you'll need shoes. And what is this umbrella? He said, because it may rain, it may be too hot. And so you need umbrella. And Lala said, and Maya, for my cows, you're going to give umbrella and shoes for my cows? Now we know Nanda Baba has 9 lakhs of cows. And each has 4 feet. Where are we going to get so many shoes, Lala? And who's going? A cow can't carry umbrella, then we have to find somebody to carry umbrella. I'm going to give shoe and umbrella for your cows. All right, Maya. Then if my cow is going barefoot, I'm going to go barefoot. If my cow is going without umbrella, I'm going without umbrella. He said, you keep it with you. So Krishna wandered all over this Dasta Braj barefoot. That's why this dust of Braj is so special. Ordinarily, we have some, just like we went to somebody's house today, they have a vacuum cleaner that runs all around by itself. You know, my mother used to go like this. Now it runs around the room and bounces off all the corners. And we try to get the dust out. But this dust of Braj, this is mixed with the lotus foot dust of Krishna. If you see all the sadhus in Braj, they're all going barefoot because they're hoping they'll step on one little tiny speck that Krishna touched. And, oh, Viru Darhu, I'll be saved. And Sanatana Goswami describes in his Tika that that night all the cows went out and with their hard hoofs they smashed all of the dust, all of the rocks and thorns into very fine dust. Now they're covering all that dust with asphalt, and we just, on Braj Trikam, we just beg for those nice soft Braj paths, you know. In some place there's, it's like chandan, like powdered chandan. Some places it's like powdered red chandan. Some places it's like camphor, very white Brajas there. And, especially if you go to Unchagam, village of Lalita Sakis, if instead of going across the bridge, you turn left and go a little ways, there, I call it the Johnson & Johnson baby powder rush. It is so soft and so fine. Whenever I take Radha Swami there, he wears a mask, you know, because on the bottle it says for external use only. It's so fluffy, it just floats. So anyway, then they gave charge of the cows to Krishna. And so one of his favorite places, because it's far from the village, is, not so far, but it's far from the village, that is Terkadam. And in the evening, one of the reasons it's called Terkadam, because in Brijbasa language, Ter means to give a call, to call. So Krishna will climb in a kadamba tree there and play on his flute in the afternoon, just around when we're doing that 4:30 arti, that time of the day we call Goduli. Because all the cows will come home, they'll kick up dust, and a big cloud will come. So that's the time of the day called Goduli, because the cows come. So Krishna calls on his flute, and all the cows come running to Tirkadam. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Krishna has a special japa mala, just like we have our Tulsi mala. He has 108 jewels mala, 108 different jewels. And we're counting names of God. He's counting cows, actually group leaders. Because Nanda Baba, he has 9 lakhs of cows, but they're divided in 4 main groups. The white cows, the yellow cows, the black cows, and the reddish cows. And those groups have 25 subgroups, means 100. Then there's those colored like chandan. Then there's a type of cow called, with little spots, a cow with big spots. And there's one called, I want to see, Mridanga Mukhi, face like a Mridanga. Another one, not sure, I want to see Singamukhi, face like a lion. And then there's there's a group with stars on the forehead, there's a group with tilak on the forehead, like this 108 groups. So Krishna he touches the nose of each group leader and counts 1 bead on his japamala. And then if he sees if all the 108 groups have come, if all the 9 lakhs of cows have come, he knows everyone by their name. Just like the white cows, one of them is called Davali. Daval means white. But Brijvasis, they don't like sharp letters like V. So they smooth it out into a U. Doli. And they mix their R's and L's around, so it becomes Dori. So Davali is a Dori. And Chandrika, moonbeam, Chandani, moonlight, and Motika, pearl, and Hamsika, all these nice names like this. Sweta. Then there's the yellow cows. Pili, Pitambari, Pingali, and Gange, because Ganga, she's in the yellowish cows. Because just like we had Kumbh Mela this year, Mahakumbh at Prayag. And you can go there and you can see from this side, Jamuna is coming very golden color. And from this side, Jamuna is coming very deep blue, dark color. And at the Sangam, you can actually see the waters mixing, you know. So Gange, she's in the yellowish cows. Then there's the blackish cows. Kali, but Brijbazi, they mix ours and ours. So Kali and Shamala, Shamalangi, Krishangi, Krishnangi, and Kalindi. We just heard Kalindi is very dark color. She's in the black cows. Kalindi, Jamune. Then we have the reddish cows. Sinduri, just like we had our Operation Sindur. Sinduri. And Kumkumi, and Lali, and Saraswati. We don't see Saraswati River anymore, but from Shastra we learned she had a reddish color. So Saraswati's in the reddish cows. And then, you know, Mridanga-mukhi and Singamukhi and the Chandan color Chandani, and then we have Tilakini and one with the stars Charavali. So all names like this. So Krishna sees if all the 9 lakhs of cows have come. If anyone's missing, then he climbs in the tree and he calls that cow by her very own name with his own lotus mouth. You just imagine Krishna calling your name by his own lotus mouth. Oh Marupati, Krishna Oh Prem Kishore. I forget Bhajaji's name. Radha Premi. You just imagine Krishna by his own mouth calling your name. And you see those cows. See, all the cows heard Krishna's flute. They know they're supposed to come. But they know one more thing. If they don't come, Krishna will climb in a tree and call them by their very own name. So they didn't come. And you see the cow, her ears are hanging like this. But as soon as she hears Krishna call her name, the ears go like this to catch all the nectar. And when it overflows, it doesn't overflow from the top, the overflow comes from here. And then those cows run with their legs backwards and forwards, and together and backwards and forwards, and milk bag is going ka-choon, 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 and the cows are going and they all come running to tear it up. This is one of the most wonderful places. Still very sweet and natural. Peacocks are calling, and same just like I described for Chintaharanga. Peacocks are crying, and birds are singing, and so many kadamba trees are there. Very special place. A nice kund is there. Anyway, it's getting late, so we should probably put our voice to rest and ask if there's any questions. Yes. Wait for Bhakta Mike to come.
Hare Krishna. It's not a question, it's just a humble request. Can you please share another memory of Prabhupada?
All right.
Thank you.
I'll share a very short one. Because now in my old age I can't sit cross-legged on the floor anymore. But even when I was younger, I had a hard time. Somehow my legs are just made like that. So, whenever I was in LA Temple, I always made sure that I could be right in front of the Asasam and Prabhupada would give class. So one day, I sat down right up front, you know, and Prabhupada, with his finger, he was going like that. And I looked and I thought maybe my dhoti was open or I didn't see anything. And then somehow I froze in this like a yogi position, and Prabhupada went like that. So I said, I don't know what was it he was upset about anyway. So class was going on. After a while, my legs started getting sore. And I started going like this, like devotees like to do. And it's so distracting. You're getting class and somebody's sitting there, wobbling their knee. And all of a sudden, Prabhupada stopped the class and looked at me and said, "Don't do that." Another time, that was in the old temple room in the temple on Matseka. So there was a door in the back of the room where Prabhupada used to come in. He'd come down from his quarters. Quarters were upstairs. He'd come down. There was a door in the back of the room. And now the Fate Museum is there, but this was a temple room originally. So he would come in. He would walk up straight to. We didn't have morning time. We had a picture of Panchatattva. Well, I'll tell that story later. All right. Then he would, between Panchatattva and we just had little Radha Krishna deities that the big ones hadn't come in. Between them, there was a place where he took Charnamrit. Then he'd pay obeisances to Radha Krishna, he'd pay obeisances to Jagannath, and comes to his Vyasa-san. So one day, Prabhupada walked in the back door, and as soon as he walked in, he stopped, and he put his head back, like sometimes you see Prabhupada's profile, like a swan gliding across the lake. He said, "What is in Krishna's eye?" Now, personally, I went back there and I stood by that door. I can't even, in the little deities, you can't even see that Krishna has an eye, what's in the eye. As soon as Prabhupada walked, he said, "What is in Krishna's eye?" All the pujaris, they ran to the altar, and they were right on the altar. Even they were having trouble with, Finally, one spot, a little flake of tilak had fallen into Krishna's eye. What was the other one I was going to tell? I slipped my mind. Okay. Later, Govindadasi, she made these paper mache gornitai in Hawaii, and they were shipping them to different temples. We had some in Portland also. So we only had picture of Panchatattva in LA, so we got these paper mache deities from Hawaii, from Govindadasi. And Prabhupada was doing the installation. So everybody was in the temple room. And I thought, deities are being installed, there should be a feast. And I used to be a famous cook. I remember Vishnujan Swami came to my temple one time. He said, "I hope Dina Bandhu is in the kitchen." Because I've been to so many temples, and this is the first temple that has nice prasadam. So I thought, there should be a feast. So I went in the kitchen, nobody was there. I had the whole kitchen to myself. So I made nice paneer sabji and puris and everything. And then I, made the paneer, kneaded it out very smooth and made, rasgullas and sandesh. And all big feast I made. Because the deities were being installed. So everybody else because Prabhupada was doing the installation. So everybody's in the temple room. And I had the whole kitchen to myself. Then Nanda Kumar came in. We just left this room recently. He saw all this feast prasad. So he piled it up on Prabhupada's plate. And he took it upstairs. And Prabhupada looked at the plate and he said, "This is breakfast?" "No, this is breakhead." And then Nanda Kumar told me Prabhupada would sometimes just nibble at the sweets. But he ate all the rasgul and sandesh. And then he smiled and said, "Sweets means rasgul and sandesh." When Nanda Kumar came down and told me that, then I knew now my life is perfect. So any other question? there's no other questions, we can do some kirtan. And after the kirtan, we have a book. We just published our, actually the second printing. We already ran out of the first printing, so the second printing of our book, Braj Leela Part 3, Giriraj, the King of Mountains. Why don't you show it? You always show it better than me. So, I have two other books. We have maybe 10 or 12 pictures in them, but everybody loves his photography, so we decided to make a picture book. Because it's all about Govardhan, all the places. You can't even imagine how many places there are in Govardhan. Everybody just does Olympics and runs around. There's so many places, so many pastimes happening. So there's 284 color pictures of Arjuna Bhattacharya, now Artha Bandhu Das, one of the Bandhu brothers. And not Artha Bandhu, but Artha, the same thing as Dina, friend of the distressed. And 32 paintings. We took permission from BBT, and we had 32 paintings, 284 color pictures, 530 pages of nectar. And like Madhupati said in the beginning, some of the places are lost. We consulted, because we spent years doing this. We consulted Narayan Bhatta Goswami's Braj Bhakti Vilas, and he gives Achma mantras and Pranam mantras for places on Govardhan that nobody knows. But so now we have visual record and written record of all the places I could find them. So it's 530 pages of nectar, and we're only asking a donation of $25 for it. And we can take cash or credit card or online or whatever way you want to. And I'm here to sign it.
There you go.
But first we'll have a nice kirtan. What should we do? Now you goodbye?
Yes.
Okay. And this is dancing music, so you're tired of sitting anyway, so everybody stand up. Yes, of course. You can have two.
Thank you so much for the nectarian class, Maharaj. If you could please let us know what inspired you to take shelter of Vrindavan. You spent your life.
I don't know. I went the first time in 1874. And although coming from Mayapur, they were cooking with buffalo ghee and our Western bodies were ready for that. We were so sick. Luckily, Jamuna and Gurudas were in charge of the temple then, and they'd already heard. They made nice, very, light prasad for us. They took care of us like mother and father. I've never forget Gurudas and Jamuna, just like our mother and father. Nice care of us. But somehow, as sick as I was, I just felt this is my home. And Gurudas, he took us on Trikuma, and he used to tell us stories in such a lively way. He was my first Trikuma guru. So I had always begged my GBC that I went to stay here, especially after we just celebrated the 50th anniversary. Now, 1 minute, it was a construction site. Suddenly, the installation was over, it became a temple. They needed pujaris. Before it was just a construction site, the devotees there were just watching it, counting the bricks and counting the bags of cement and making sure they didn't get pilfered. And, but now we need cooks, we need pujaris, we need so many things, preachers, and so many things. So I was just begging my GBC, please let me stay. But I was temple president. They said, you can't irresponsibly leave your service. Then somehow in 1984, I always serve Vrinda. I always leave nice donations, especially for Prabhupada's house. I'd always leave, $100 bill in the donation box. And later I told this story, and Devi Shakti, who's been there Vrindavan longer than me, says, "Oh, that was you! I remember every Magpur festival there was $100 in the box." So anyway, somehow in 1984, my responsible service irresponsibly left me, and I decided to stay in Vrindavan because I always wanted to be there. So I served Vrindavan for 10 years, and then Vrindavan just grabbed me and doesn't let me go anywhere.
I have a second question. I've heard you say before that your favorite stays in Vrindavan Dham as the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada in the Iskcon temple. So if you could let us know any other favorite spots of yours in Vrindavan.
Well, the main thing is about Krishna, like I said, my most favorite spot is Krishna Balaram Mandir, because I meet devotees from every part of the world telling me how Prabhupada's mission is going on. So that's my favorite place. But after that, we found one place now near Bandhu. It's called Shamba. And there's a Sudam temple there. But before that, there's a place, now the government fixed it all, it's a broken down Kund. It's called Shamtalai. Shamtalai. Used to be, all the steps were broken, and now they made beautiful arrangements. And there's a, if you go behind it, and you go into the forest, all of a sudden you're in the whole Vrindavan we dream about. Just tamal trees, and kanumba trees, and neem trees, and peacocks. And we just wander in there. You get lost, because there's so many ways. It goes this way, that way. You just get totally lost in there. And we wandered into some ashram, and they were feeding the parrots, and we scared the parrots. The sky turned completely green with parrots. Such a wonderful place.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for the kind explanation, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. A very sweet nectar of Rajalila. Thank you so much for that.
Nothing to thank for me. Krishna did all the leelas, not just.
So, how did you meet Srila Prabhupada?
Well, first I met him in his books, because I was staying in the mountains above Boulder, Colorado. And I decided that this is heaven. At the end of the summer, my heaven got very cold. So I had to come down from the mountains to Boulder town, and I ran into devotees that come there to start a temple, and I ran into them. They gave me a copy of Prabhupada's Gita, and at the time I was very confused because because we were born in affluent families, so I thought no use to spend chasing after money, better to help people. And my desire was to make people happy, but then I realized that I don't have any happiness to give anybody. If I want to distribute money, I have to have money to distribute. And I thought, what is my social work? I help people to get a better education, so they can get a better job, so they can make more money, and buy all the things that didn't give me any happiness, real happiness. In other words, I make people as frustrated as I am. So then Prabhupada, just in his introduction to Bhagavad Gita, that was just a little blue one, with like 800 pages edited out of it, Still we became devotees. So, there Prabhupada said, just like you have a bird in a bird cage, you can make a cage out of silver, you can make it of gold, you can put a TV, you can do so many things to the cage, but if you don't give any nourishment to the bird, he'd never be happy. So this body is like a cage, and the soul is a little bird sitting here. And we can give so many facilities to the body, but unless we give some nourishment to the soul, how will we be happy? And I said, no more university. I didn't find the answer. This is the knowledge that I wanted. So I became student of Bhagavad Gita and disciple of Prabhupada. That's the real story. Takes at least 3 hours, and that's the edited version.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we dedicated ourselves to giving people real happiness.
Next time, please come for longer so you can have all those 3 hours.
No, but you come to Vrindavan, don't you? Okay, anyway, everybody can stand up. It's just dancing because you won't be able to sit anyway.